Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our next edition of the live interviews for If You're an Engineer, What Would You Do? The aim of this project is to get everyone to think of creative ideas, get them to send the entries in. Speaking of this morning, we have some fantastic entries sent in to us, and we can't wait to see them, get them marked, and obviously have a look at these amazing designs. Just a quick heads up, the deadline is the 23rd of March, which is next week. So if you want to obviously get them entries sent in to us, more the better. We can't wait to view them. And I'd like to introduce Dr. Najah, who is a chemical engineer at Canterbury Christ Church University. This is the second part of our two interviews today. And without further ado, hand over to yourself, Najah.
Thank you very much, Joshua. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure being here today and joining you in this webinar. First of all, let's introduce myself. I am Dr. Najah Battikh, and I am a lecturer and course director of chemical engineering at the Canterbury Christ Church University School of Engineering, Technology and Design. So just to give you a bit of background about myself, about the qualification I hold. So I did a bachelor degree in chemical engineering at Al-Ba'ath University in Syria. I graduated in 2007, and I got a scholarship to do a master and PhD here in the UK. So I did my MSc in embedded system engineering at Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh, UK. And then after that, I did my PhD in chemical engineering, also at Heriot-Watt University. Also, I am a fellow of the Higher Education Academy. So this is a bit of background about myself, about the academic qualification I have. Moving on to talk about my research interest. So during my PhD, I was looking at the crystallization monitoring and process. So I looked at how I can monitor and control the size of different crystals, of different chemicals. So why this is important? Because as you know, crystallization process is very important, and trying to achieve what we call it, the desired shape, size, and what we call also the crystal size distribution is very important, because this will affect the efficiency of the downstream process, which come if you are looking at the chemical plant. There's also after the crystallization process, there are downstream processes like filtration to be able to filter that crystal out and then dry it to get your product. So the crystallization, or controlling the crystallization process, is very important for the downstream process, or the effectiveness of the downstream process. Also, if I'm talking about the crystallization in general, and also if you are talking about pharmaceutical industry, this is also affect the effectiveness of the drugs, so the product. So that's why it's very important in both pharmaceutical and fine chemical industry. This is some of the pictures of the crystals I produced during my PhD. I was working on two chemicals. So I looked at the glutamic acid and the glycine, and these two chemicals, they have different polymorphs. So when they crystallize in different shape. So as you can see, for glutamic acid, either would be rhombic or needles. And again, the condition of the process, so the operating condition will allow one shape to be generated than the other. So that's why it's very important to control the operating parameters to be able to achieve the desired crystal shapes, and also how we can minimize or have a narrower crystal size distribution, because we don't want to have very fine crystals, because this will affect the efficiency of the process after this, the crystallization. And for glycine also, this is one shape you can get. So this is mainly was my PhD work, again, I developed a methodology to control the size of these crystals by combining hot and cold water paths to be able to produce a nice crystals with nice size and narrower size crystal size distribution. Also, these days I'm interested in water treatment, and all of you are aware of the microplastic problems we are facing. So there are microplastic everywhere. So so trying to find a way and a method to remove these microplastics from the environment. What I was interested in is to find a way to remove microplastic from when you are washing your clothes. So when you are washing your clothes in the washing machine, you are releasing microplastic from that textiles into the water that will go to the drainage system. So trying to find a way to remove these microplastics. So this is something I'm working on. So these are mainly the two broad area of my research: the crystallization, monitoring and control, and finding a way to remove microplastics from aqueous environments. So this is related to my research interest. Moving on to talk about my teaching duties, as I am a lecturer at Canterbury Christ Church University. So I teach different modules for year 2 and year 3 chemical engineering students. So the modules I'm leading are separation processes and advanced separation processes, also fundamentals of process design and control, and advanced transport phenomena and the process control. And as you know that separation process is very important. There are different separation process you can see in a chemical plant, like distillation, absorption column, filtration, crystallization, also ion exchange, adsorption. There are many separation process that can be used in an industry, and it's very important to understand as a chemical engineer the design and the principle of these processes and how to design this equipment to perform the separation required. Also, it's very important to understand the process you are operating, and also finding a control, the best control system, because to make sure that you are operating your unit in a safe way. So it's very important also to understand the fundamentals of process control. Also, you know that in industry, as chemical engineer, after we produce the products, we need to move this product from one place to another, or within the chemical plant itself, you need to transport the product or the materials from one place to another. So it's very important also to understand the transport phenomena and how we can design an effective system to transport different types of fluid. If you are talking about just one phase, so if you are just talking about liquid, or two-phase system, if you have liquid gas, liquid solid, or gas solid. So it's very important to understand the mechanism and the design criteria for this type of transport systems. So these are the modules I'm leading. Also, I'm supervising chemical engineering design project. So if you choose to study chemical engineering in your final year, you are going to do a design project, which is a big thing in your year 3, where you will be in charge of, as a group, design a chemical plant. So looking at the production of any chemical, and looking at what is the best route to produce that chemicals, and then look into details about the design of each equipment in that plant. Also looking at it's not just about the mechanical design. Also, you need to look at the safety aspects, the environmental aspects, the costing, etc. So it's like a full project, but it's very exciting, and the students learn a lot, because in that module they will be able to apply all the knowledge they learned during their degree on the design project. So it's very important. Moving here, just to give you some examples of what our students are doing in their practical sessions. So here I've chosen two types of practical, where one of them is where they are doing an experiment, and this experiment's about water treatment plant. So as you can see, sorry, the picture is a bit small. So this water treatment plant has three different unit operations. So starting from the left, we have a filtration unit. So we have at the top the gravel filter and below the sand filter. And then the one in the middle is the adsorption unit. So we have aluminum oxide at the top and activated carbon at the bottom. And the third unit operation is ion exchange. And if you pass through this system untreated water, you will be able to treat it and purify that water by passing it through these unit operations. And on the right, as you can see, just when we are taking samples from different points, from different outlets of these unit operations, you will see that first of all, with the filter, we will be able to remove all the solid particles, and then when going to the adsorption, we will be able to remove the color. So the color comes from one of the chemical, so we are going to remove that chemicals, etc. So until we get a clear solution, so clear water. So this is something to mimic what you can see in the industry for water treatment, and learn the application of this major unit operation. So this is like a laboratory-based tutorial or practical session. The other one is about here at Canterbury Christ Church University, we do what we call Cdio Project. So Cdio Project stands for Conceive, Design, Implement, and Operate approach. So this is developed by IMD. So in this case, we have a problem sourced from industry, and our students are they will work on finding a solution for that problem. So, for example, this here some examples of a project they've done last year. They did last year, and the project was to find a way or a solution to measure the tensile strength of a rope. So it was part of that project with Barton Marine company. So they asked us just to think of a way to measure the tensile strength of a rope. And as you can see, the student, they came up with different solution for the same problem. And this is what we call it an innovative solution. So for each problem, there is more than one solution. It's not just one answer for any engineering problem, we can say, or any problem we have in our life. So finding this solution and kind of compare and see which one is the most optimum one. So you can see they use different different types of sensor. They also different physical design as well, and all of these design at the end measure the same or give the same result, but using different elements. Okay, that's me. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm happy to take any question.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Really good presentation. Much appreciated, obviously, for giving your time up. We do have some good questions here. So what's made you become a chemical engineer over the other types of engineering that are out there?
Okay, to be honest, I love math and chemistry. And for me, chemical engineering is the best combination of these two subjects. And to be honest, when I was looking at when I'm going to apply for a university, I wanted something to combine these two, and chemical engineering does. And also, if you can see, chemical engineer can work anywhere. So there are a lot of job opportunity later on. For me, I love academia, so I love to teach and be in academia. But at the same time, if I want to move from academia to industry, there are many opportunity there in different industry. As I said, like I'm not, because sometimes we have this kind of what we call it, when we talk about chemical engineering, we just say oil and gas, or like so it's not just oil and gas. Chemical engineers can like do water treatment, pharmaceutical industry, food industry, everywhere, to be honest, chemical engineering can do it. So this is what inspired me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That kind of follows into another question we had, like who was or what was the reason, who inspired you to become an engineer? Was it something when you was younger?
Yeah,
family?
Yeah, my dad is a civil engineer, so that's why I inspire. But as I said, it's not just my dad. I have a couple of relatives who are engineers, and because I was looking at their works and I was interested in what they were doing, so this is inspired me to study engineering.
Ah, fantastic. So what is your highest achievement, or the best moment that you've had in your engineering career so far?
To be honest, I think every steps in my life is like every achievement. When for example, when I graduate, like getting a bachelor degree in chemical engineering was like a big achievement for me. And then after that, when I achieved my master and PhD and become a doctor, so this is another achievement. And then getting a job. So it's not like one achievement. I feel like everything I do in my life and reward is like a big achievement for me.
Fantastic. And so obviously, what are the biggest issues that you've had within your career? Because we've also got a question here is, with the microplastics, obviously in the water, obviously what is the issue with that? And do you do any other form of helping the environment as well?
Yeah, because this is the microplastic affect your health. It's not good to have this microplastic in your body, as we can say. So that's why, and because until recently, they start thinking about microplastic and detecting microplastic in the environment. And I think it's not just about from clothes. So if you go to the river, you will see, if you do sampling, you will find also microplastic. And I don't know if some of you watch, like in the last couple of months, like there was also, they were looking at the face mask, the disposable face mask we are wearing. And for example, if you suck it in water, they will release microplastic and other heavy metal, which is not good for the environment. So that's why we need to think about what we are consuming, and then we just like throw it in the bin. Is it really affecting the environment? So it's like affecting the environment, but again, we are getting the water, the food, everything from the environment. So we are affecting ourselves. It's not just the environment, and we should protect the environment first and ourselves as well.
Brilliant. And what is the biggest issues you've had within your career? Have you made mistakes and learned from them, obviously, and continued going? What's have been the biggest issues in the career that have been in the way, and for example?
To be honest, the biggest, we can say, not a biggest issue, but for example, when you are doing your PhD, and because you are looking at the novel thing, so a lot of problems you will face while you are doing your experiments. So you are not doing something someone else has done it before. So you are kind of looking at something new. So always you will have an issue. For example, the experiment is not working. I have a problem with this equipment, stop working. So this kind of things, these kind of challenges, but to be honest, you learn a lot. So I think doing my PhD allowed me to kind of gain a lot of skills in if I have a problem, how I can try to find a solution. It's not bad to make a mistake. So if we don't make a mistake, we are not going to learn something. We are not in a perfect world. So, but it's very important to learn. And as I said, like during my PhD, as I said, because it's an experimental work, so you will make some mistakes. You did some experiment, it didn't work, you have to repeat it. So sometimes you feel like a bit upset, or why it didn't work. It should. So, you know, sometimes you spend a couple of weeks working on something, or a couple of months. At the end of the day, there is no outcome from that. But at least you try and you discover that there is no solution for this. You need to look at another route. But again, you learned, even you made that mistake, or you learned something. So I think everything in our life, everything we do in our life, we learn from it, either good or something is not like perfect, we can say. Everything we learn from.
Yeah, definitely. That's fair. Thank you for that. And is working in chemical engineering very dangerous?
No.
No.
Well, in a way, how what we call it, because people look, when we are looking at chemical engineering, there are a lot of health and safety procedure put in place. So you are not, for example, I'm just talking now at university. So if our students are going to do a practical session, okay? So first of all, they have to wear all the PPE. So a proper lab coat, safety glasses, for example, if they are dealing with chemicals, gloves. But before that, they have to read and understand all the risk and the hazard associated with the chemical they are doing, also with the experiment. So we put all this kind of health and safety measures in place before conducting any experiment. So if you are following the what we call it, the protocol, it should not be dangerous. And the same is applicable to industry. They will not allow you on site if you don't have if they don't have all the health and safety measures in place. But unfortunately, misusing the chemicals, yes, will be dangerous.
That's fair enough. Now this kind of follows on to the next question. So obviously being an engineer, it is obviously good to have, you know, your own ideas, your own input, but how vital is it to work well in a team and work obviously, you know, together?
Yeah, I think, yes, because for example, even at university or at work, if you have an industrial work, you are going to work in a team, because to be able to perform any task, you cannot work on that one by yourself. It's always a teamwork. I know sometimes it's very challenging, especially depends on the personality of the people. But again, we are looking at working in a professional environment. So I think sometimes it's challenging, but it's again it's really what we call it, working in a group is effective. Because, for example, if I'm going to do a research, it's better to share my ideas with my colleagues who have the same interest, and in this case, we will come up with different solution. So this will make the research more interesting.
Fantastic. We do have a question here, obviously, about going back to the crystals. So what are the crystals used for, and do you have a favorite type of crystal?
Okay. No, it's just like, to be honest, in my PhD, I looked at these two different types of chemicals, which can be used as a food additive. Like, I think if you look at your food packages, sometimes you'll see monosodium glutamic acid. So other things. So it's like a food additive. But I looked at these two chemicals in particular, because you can see when they crystallize out, they can crystallize in a different shape. and one shape is more stable than the other. So it's just like kind of make an experiment to see how, for example, changing the temperature, changing the stirring speed, changing the measure or the operating conditions affect the shape and the size of these crystals.
Brilliant, thank you. And what has been your favourite project or experiment so far? Have you had a particular one where you enjoyed more than the other?
To be honest, not, because to be honest, as I said, like what I'm doing because I like it and I'm interested and passionate about it. But recently with the water and water treatment, especially when you can see where when you are running the experiments and see how this, for example, the example I give you about water treatment plant, how this unit operation able to purify that water, and you can really see it even by eye. So it's like it's interesting. And also the other one is about the microplastic, where we have to take a piece of cloth, put it in a water and stir it and see how this fibers release, and then see it under the microscope and see, for example, if you add something, will make it stick together. So this kind of things is like interesting.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And this is a good question as well. So obviously outside of work, it's kind of two questions really. So when the job obviously does get a bit too much, what is something that you like to do to relax with your hobbies? And do you use engineering at all in your personal life? Say at home, do you find yourself using your engineering elsewhere rather than at work?
I think, to be honest, outside, like outside my working time, we can say, I enjoy walking, running. So it's like doing sports. This is one thing. And also I enjoy reading. So this is the two things. And about having engineering in my personal life, yes, because for example, if you are cooking, you are mixing something and you are doing so, it's like experiment something. So, and yes, it's mainly. And to be honest, because I don't know, I think all of you make hot chocolate and sometimes, or like a coffee, and adding milk and water to that powder, sometimes you'll have lumps. So this is something maybe people are interested. One of my colleagues, she's interested in finding a way where we can avoid making or kind of creating these lumps in your hot chocolate or like coffee. So, you know, it's like looking at what should be the optimum percentage of the milk. So this is something you can experience, experiment while you are cooking or drinking, etc.
Fair enough. Thank you for that. I never thought of that before. So if you wasn't going to be an engineer, what would your job be? If you were going to be an engineer, what would you do?
To be honest, a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it will be a teaching.
Would that be primary school? Would it high school with certain subjects, or is it more like science teacher, or would that be the one? Or
no, for me, any teacher, like primary school, secondary school. I love teaching, so doesn't matter which level. I enjoy it.
Brilliant. And so, what type of advice for people who are watching this today from primary schools? What subjects did you focus on when you was younger? Obviously, that are key to becoming an engineer.
I think mainly it will be maths, chemistry, and physics, but mainly maths and chemistry.
Fair enough. And do you have to go to university, or is that something you can get apprentices, or is university key to becoming an engineer?
Sorry, again.
I'm sorry. Do you have to go to university to pursue being an engineer, or is it something that you can do, get an apprenticeship, or things like that? Do you have to go to university for that?
Myself.
No, just in general, obviously, for people who are thinking about the career path, do you have to do that? And obviously yourself, you went to university as well, I believe, yeah?
Yes, so sometimes, as I said, like to study chemical engineer, you need to have there's requirement, for example, depends on your A-level or GCSE results. So, and it should be maths and chemistry. However, there's some occasion, sometimes maybe you have a work experience, etc., which master these skills. And also, as I said, like here at the university, we support the students as well. So regarding math and chemistry.
Fantastic.
That's why we have a foundation year before year one. So if you don't achieve the requirement for year one, you'll be able to do a foundation year before that.
Fantastic. And is do you also get a lot of family support when you took this career path? Were your family very supportive in your decision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were very, very supportive. As I said, like my dad is a civil engineer. So and also it was because chemical engineer sometimes is they will say it's not for for females, we can say. But no, I had a lot of support from my family.
Brilliant. Would you like to see obviously more females in engineering, well, either if it's chemical or just engineering overall?
Yeah, to be honest, because I think people they think is engineering is not for females. No, it's like it's for both. So I think I encourage all girls to think of engineering in general. And to be honest, chemical engineering is very nice. You can look at food engineering. So there are different types of engineering, and they are for both. So yeah, I think I encourage everyone. So it's for everyone. If you are passionate about math, chemistry, and see how things are around you. So like how produce. So it's very, very nice to study engineering because you would be able to find solutions to all these problems the world is facing. You can't imagine what engineers can do. You can't imagine everything around you. If you look around you in the room, everywhere, any product has an engineer look at it. So and find the solutions. So engineers can do a lot.
That's great. And I presume with engineering, has this particular job, or have you been any places that you'd love to go again? Have you visited many countries, or have you been in, taught in other schools around the country or different countries or anything like that at all?
Yes, so I came from Syria. So where I did my bachelor degree in chemical engineering. So I had the opportunity there to go to different plants, so different factories, for example, for water treatment, for washing liquids, for refineries, so oil and gas. So there are different plants. Also, I had the opportunity to go to Egypt. And do a summer placement. Also, I've been in Edinburgh, so also at Heriot University, so in the UK. Then I moved to Wales, to Swansea, because before my current job, I was teaching tutor there. So I had the opportunity to kind of visit different places, and I'm still, we can say, interested to explore more places. So that's why now with the placement, we are trying to secure for our students with different companies. So we will be able to visit various companies.
And do you, at Canterbury Christ Church University, do you do open days for primary schools and high schools, obviously, to come and have a look around at the university?
Yes.
And get involved in?
So we have our outreach team who can organize school visits, and we have the new building, the Verena Holmes building. So it's a new building just opened last year in January 2021. So that building has one floor just for engineering, and there are a huge, well-equipped workshop, so something like an industrial standard, so as well as other equipment that can be used for teaching and research in engineering. So I'm talking about chemical engineering, mechanical engineering, product design, and biomedical engineering. So yeah, You are most welcome if you would like to come and have a tour in the on campus, in the new building, and also the campus itself. And I don't know people who are watching us where they are right now, but Canterbury as a city is very, very nice. So I really recommend it.
Fair play, fair play. Thank you for that. Like I said, we've had some great answers, some great questions, sorry, and some fantastic answers. I think the last one, which I asked today to, pretty much just sum up this whole interview. To the people that are listening today and the people that will be viewing this on YouTube, what is your advice to everyone at a young age in primary school that wants to become an engineer? What advice would you give them to pursue this career and dream big and go all out?
I think like the advice, if you are, we can say, if you are passionate about how things around you are made, try to secure a career in engineering. There are different courses, so it's not just chemical engineer. There are different courses you can study. Look at this study, see where you see yourself. And engineering is not difficult. It's sometimes it's challenging, but it's very, very exciting. And you'll be very excited after, for example, you finish your project, because you will be able to see the outcome of that one. And as I said, like engineers are everywhere. So I think for me, it's an excellent, a good career path to consider. As I said, like here at the university, we have open days, outreach activities for primary students. So if you would like to come along, and we can talk about that in more details. If you have any questions about any particular thing, we are more than happy to answer. And as I said, like for me, when I was very, very young, we can say, like when I was in early primary school, I was not thinking of engineering. So something was more after I finished my primary study, and something I start considering as a career. So it's not too late now to think of engineering. But as I said, like before, engineering was not one thing I was thinking of, like as a career, but this is a change after that. Yeah, but as I said, like it's just because everything around you has an input from an engineer. So I think it's a nice career to consider, and it's not difficult. So don't think, oh, because it's a lot of math, a lot of physics, a lot of chemistry. No, you will see that while you are progressing in your school study, you will learn all these skills, and you still have the university time to study as well.
Brilliant, thank you. Very nicely. So I'd like to thank everyone that has joined the interview today and given the questions in, and a big thank you to you, Najah, much appreciated for that. We have 2 more interviews tomorrow, and they are the last of the interviews that we've got for this year. Just a reminder as well, the competition want the entry, sorry, for the 23rd of March. So if you send them in, we can't wait to see them, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.
Bye.